Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And today we're here to continue Naruto DxD, The Last Shinobi. What if Naruto was in high school DxD, Season 1, Part 2. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular and you like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Now, just to reiterate a little bit of what I've said before, yes, this is a series that I've done before. This is the series that actually started the PowerCore channel, if a lot of you know from the originals, people who've been with me since the very beginning. But when I first did that story, I felt I could do better. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy for how the first story turned out, because it was a big accomplishment for me. That first story is what got me to 1K alone, and top of everything else that I've done since then. But I wanted to do a remaster. Also, this is a way for me to come back and try and tell this story one more time. Now, consider this to be my Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood to my Fullmetal Alchemist. And if you get that reference, then you kind of understand how this story is going to be. It will be very similar to the original, but there will be some key tweaks and changes. And going forward, the remastered version will be the official canon version. But you can still listen to the original if you like and prefer that style of story. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Wait, you're devils? Naruto would say with hesitation, as Rias and the others revealed their true nature, as their devil-like wings sprouted from their backs to show confirmation. Naruto would once again find himself on edge, ready to attack, ready to escape if need be. Although he was a little perplexed. If they really were meaning to do him harm, why would they reveal themselves? That was what Rias had mentioned earlier. But even still, what did this have to do with him? What did it have to do with that girl, Rainier? What did all of this even mean? Well, Rias would take the time to explain things to Naruto, explaining just what sort of world he truly lived in, the classes between the angels, the devils, and the fallen angels, as well as her status as the leader of the House of Gremory. Of course, for Naruto, all of this was definitely a lot to take in. The idea of him not being the only sole power in this world. Although, after some of his experiences, he figured this would be the likely outcome. The main thing that concerned Naruto was wondering just why was he being attacked? Just how on earth had he earned the fury of the fallen? Rias would explain that it must have had to do with his hidden power. In all likelihood, they were targeting him because he potentially bore a sacred gear. A powerful weapon passed down through generations. Akeno even chiming in that many people of great power and nobility were known to have sacred gears. But there was also something else. Rias could sense it whenever Naruto was around, but he had the strong presence similar to that of the Yokai clan in Kyoto. The Yokai clan? Yes, they are descendants of the Fox Spirit. There's a Fox Spirit in this world? Why, yes, Naruto. Why, are you familiar with it? Naruto would take a deep breath. What he was about to explain to them could honestly make absolutely no sense, and they'd have no reason to believe him whatsoever, but he told them to keep an open mind. Everyone in the room would nod as Naruto explained his origins, how in truth he really wasn't from this world, but he was from another, a world where shinobi reigned supreme and practiced the art of ninjutsu. He explained that to save his life, apparently, his father had sent him to another world because of some prophecy, some destined battle to take place, something that would require Naruto to be here for some reason or another, and yet Naruto still had no idea of knowing just why that was. And on top of that, he also had what they would call a yokai sealed inside of him, although in his world it was known as the nine-tailed fox spirit. Everyone in the room would be stunned. They had always known that the yokai could have the ability to transform into a nine-tails, but the idea of sealing away a whole nine-tails inside of another human being, why, that was something that had never even been considered. Although the practice of sealing away ancient beasts inside of humans or other items, say a sacred gear, was not uncommon and in fact was actually the norm. It also explained why Naruto was able to do what he did, his ninjutsu as he called it. So you could say that your ninjutsu as you call it, it's your form of magic, Rias would deduce. In a roundabout way, although honestly I've never really viewed it as magic, no more so than just the extent of my own power. Although when you really stop and think about it, things like chakra, magic, maybe even ki or other types of methods of energy, maybe they're all the same and they're all connected. It's just different ways of interpretation depending on what group you're from. This did make the most sense. After all, there were multiple forms of magic in their world. It wasn't just to one set or another. There were many different power systems. You could say that they were all interconnected by one ability, by one's own inner power, their inner will of strength. Of course, it wasn't like everyone could master it or that everyone could even bring it to the surface. But still, everyone had that potential at least. For Naruto's, his was the expression through ninjutsu. With all of this being put out into the air, Naruto ultimately had to know. Just what did they want with him, now that they knew his secret? Now that they had all that they had come to ask of him? Of course, Rias would offer him an opportunity. The opportunity to join them and to join the House of Grimmery. She thought that his skills were more than adequate to the house, and she believed that this could be an opportunity. After all, if everything Naruto said were true, then it meant that up until now, he had no connection to the outer parts of their world. But now that he knew about it, maybe this could give him the answers that he was looking for. Naruto thought about it for a while. It wasn't that the idea was bad, and everything she had told him seemed legit, but he still had his doubts. He remembered the lessons that Minato taught him through his mental training, of how a ninja must always see through deception, and must never take anything lightly. Even if the offer was on the up and up, Naruto didn't think that now would be the best time to make that kind of decision. And so, he would decline. Of course, everyone would be surprised by this, but at the same time, they understood. Naruto had his reasonings for doing what he did, and they couldn't force him to join. Rias was more than respectful, although she did have to warn about Naruto's vigilante antics. To be more specific, not too long ago, Naruto had come across an individual. Rather monstrous in appearance, he was a former servant, now gone rogue, and he had been causing a bit of trouble in their town. Naruto just happened to stumble upon him as he was trying to attack an innocent victim, and he quickly dispatched of the enemy. Naruto didn't think much of it, but it did clue him that this world was more stranger than it appeared. And then on top of that, there was his fight with the Fallen during his date with Reiner, and now he could all but confirm it. However, Rias would explain this town was under the protection of the Grimoires, and they couldn't have any rogue agents going around just doing as they pleased. There had to be some order and decorum. So, out of respect and out of appreciation, they would ask that Naruto no longer get involved in their affairs, no longer going out to seek any sort of opponents for him to face, and that if there were any rogues running around, they would handle it. However, she did express Naruto having full permission to defend himself if any enemy should ever come against him. Naruto believed that this was more than fair. After all, he had already decided not to get involved with them. At the very least, he could respect their wishes not to get involved any further in any of their battles, affairs, or other business. Although Rias would exclaim that she did hope they could keep in touch, as there was still a lot more that they could discuss, and for Naruto to be on guard. Their final bit of warning was that Reiner would not have gone after him if it were just his connection to the Nine Tails. If it were for a full-on attack, it was because Naruto had something else. Something inside of him. Something that the Fallen viewed so dangerous that they felt the need to take him out. Naruto would heed the warning as he headed home that night. As he tossed and turned in his bed, he would find himself having a dream. He found himself in that dark place, the place of his nightmares as a child. As he walked through the dark corridors with the torches lighting both of the walls, he soon found he was standing before a cage. It was large in size, but yet covered deep in shadow, and only piercing, menacing, bloodshot red eyes staring back at him. So, the little pup graces me with his presence. Nine Tails, the one and only. And just what do you want? I don't know. I used to be afraid of you. I used to be in such fear of you being in my head. And yet now you come to me. Because you've learned truths of this world. Truths that intrigue you. And intrigue me also. But if you've come seeking my cooperation, well then, you are gravely mistaken. Don't you think that now's not the time to be acting so selfishly? You'd be wise to remember who you're speaking to, boy. The only reason I don't rip you limb from limb is because this cage is all but what separates the two of us. Make no mistake about it. The first chance I get to be unleashed, I'm going to take it. And I am going to rip this world apart. Naruto said nothing in response. As his dream began to fade, and he slowly found himself awakening. It was almost 3 a.m. He couldn't get any sleep. Naruto decided to go for a walk. Getting in and out of his house was pretty easy. Opening his bedroom window, he took one of his flying Raijin kunais and threw it towards the sidewalk, appearing there right before the kunai could make contact with the ground. Twirling it back into his pocket, Naruto went for a nighttime stroll, just trying to clear his head, when suddenly a figure would appear before him. A woman in a well-fitting purple skirt and dress. She had black feathered wings. One of the Fallen. Naruto backed away and stood on guard immediately. The woman looked at him in disgust. "Settle down, yokai boy," I haven't come here to face you. As much as you make me sick, my master wants to speak with you. Your master? Who? Lady Rainier. She wishes to have a word with you, if that is all right. You know, you guys have a funny way of asking. The last time we had just words, it resulted in a multitude of your guys chasing after me, trying to take my head off. It is a pity that they didn't succeed. But I am serious. You can pick the terms and where you would wish to meet with her, although she does want to speak with you, Naruto. The woman quickly flew off, leaving Naruto there all alone. The next day, Naruto would find himself walking to school. He didn't really have much focus on his academics, as the idea of meeting with Rainier once again was the only thing that was on his mind. In fact, the only thing that really caught his attention was the sound of a girl falling over. And she fell over in a rather comedic way. If by comedic, meaning that her robe somehow found a way of lifting past her waist and her assets to become publicly exposed. Naruto was only human. But even still, he chose to do the polite thing and help the girl up and avoid any further embarrassment. The young girl turned back to Naruto, dressed in the attire of a woman of the church, with a holy cross around her neck, and with piercing emerald eyes. As she looked up, her long blonde hair flowing from under the shawl, as she thanked him and introduced herself. Her name was Asuya Argento. Naruto helped the young girl to her feet, introducing himself properly and learning of her name as Asuya. Asuya explained that she was new to town and she had actually come to serve in the town's local church, although she had a hard time finding it, and to make matters worse, she could be pretty clumsy at times and ditzy. She wasn't really proud of this, but all the same, she was hoping to do her best. Naruto could feel the radiance of warmth all around her. Call it that Uzumaki sense, but he just had a knack for feeling the good, and even the evil in people. She was nothing but a radiance of pure, positive energy. Something so wholesome that it almost shouldn't be allowed to exist in this world. Since Naruto knew his way around the town, he gladly walked with her, showing her where she needed to go. Before long, they eventually made their way to the bottom of the hill where the church sat on top. Of course, Naruto would have gladly walked her all the way up there, but he had to get to school since he had already gone out of his way this far. But still, Asuya was grateful for the help. She thanked him kindly as she made her way. As Naruto saw her disappearing up the hill in the distance, Naruto in the meantime was about to make his way to school. That was until a bird came swooping down, and within its beak was a written note. A note with a location. Of all the days, Naruto thought, she wants to do this now. Naruto would make a shadow clone, sending it on ahead to school, while he himself went to the meeting. It wasn't in a shady part of town or anywhere that could be a potential ambush, but rather, it was a diner. Of course, Naruto would have preferred the ramen stand, but beggars can be choosers. Naruto made his way inside and combed out the area. Of course, it didn't take him long to find her. She wasn't dressed in anything seductive or black, but she looked rather wholesome in her school uniform, to a school she didn't go to. Naruto rolled his eyes as he took his seat, Rainier sitting in attention. Her hair was a lot more natural, so to speak. It wasn't properly kept, but at the same time, it fit her so well, not trying to hide a facade of who she truly was. I'm grateful that you came. Hey, you're the one that's treating me to brunch. It's the least I could do. And what makes you assume I'm paying? Well, if you're not paying, then this conversation ends here and now. Rainier simply rolled her eyes and pulled out her purse. She was going to pay, so Naruto could listen. The waitress would take both their orders, and once she left and the two had privacy in their booth, the conversation would begin. I don't expect you to forgive me. Well, it's not like you killed me. You tried to, but you didn't. It wasn't anything personal. You should at least know that. Yeah, well, it felt personal. I mean, really? Pretending to like me? Tricking me to go on that date? Just to turn around and try to kill me when you thought I was off guard? And that's assuming you didn't know what I was capable of. You really are quite the actress. You should apply sometime. I'm sure Hollywood would love you. This is bigger than anything you could possibly know, Naruto. There are forces at work you can't possibly understand. You're right, so enlighten me. Well, for one, we're only trying to do what's best for the world. We'll never be able to accomplish that with their kind still around. You mean the devils, right? So you know. I've learned a lot. And you believe them? What reason do I have not to? Because they're devils, Naruto. You can't trust them. They're monsters. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. Pot calling the kettle black, don't you think? You know what I mean, Naruto. Okay, well, let's look at it like this. They chose to speak with me directly. They didn't sugarcoat things. They didn't lie to me. Unlike you. You're telling me who I can and can't trust. And that's really funny coming from a person who was more than willing to take my head off just 7 days ago. So forgive me if I'm a little less than convinced that you're suddenly all altruistic and you have the right motives in mind. And also, last time I checked, the angels don't like your kind either. No matter what you do. You've already made your choice, so why can't you accept that? You don't think I don't feel that way? Personally, I couldn't care less about trying to kiss up to the big man upstairs. But that's not my decision to make. And if you think that we're all just trying to get back into his good graces, then you are surely mistaken. Then what do you want? It's not about what I want, Naruto. Let me guess. You serve under someone, don't you? Someone who has their own thoughts, goals, and motives in mind. And you're just following orders. I wouldn't say that necessarily. I take pride in what I do at least. But I wouldn't go about doing things this way. Even still, I already have my assignment and I can't go back on it. Then why have you called me here, Rainier? It's to figure out what you're going to do. Right now, you don't belong to any one faction. So what, is this a bidding war for my services now? I'm serious. You have great potential. If you joined the Fallen, that's out of the question. I have no intentions on joining you. Besides for the fact that you already betrayed me once, and you almost tried to kill me. That's not something one can easily get over. To be honest, I'm quite pissed just looking at you. You don't think I can feel it? I can see it clear as day. The only reason I don't kill you is because I don't want to go down that road. Also, I made a promise. A promise? So now you're making deals with devils? It wasn't a deal. I was just being informed. And I've come to the conclusion that I have no reason to get involved with any of you. This fight, this war, this three-way love triangle, hate, whatever you want to call it, it has nothing to do with me. As long as you're not dealing with me or anyone that I know or care about, then I personally have no reason to get involved with any of you. I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm not even saying it to be cruel. That's just a fact. Whatever you guys are doing, you're going to have to take care of it on your own. I don't want any part of it. And if you try to drag me into it, you're going to regret it. Rainier had a soft expression on her face, almost as if she expected this answer, but at the same time, wished that it could have been something different. The two of them did enjoy their meal. Naruto was going to go to school, he was just going to be late. However, as he left the diner, Rainier, without even turning, would speak. For what it's worth, at least for that week, I was actually happy. So was I. I can't tell you what to do. I can't stop you. If you think that listening to your boss and doing what he wants is best, then you have to make that decision for yourself. I just think it'll be a waste. A waste of what? Of living a better life. Naruto walked out of the diner and made his way to school, and Rainier was left there to wondering if she was living the life that she wanted to live. But those thoughts quickly left her. It didn't matter now. In the end, none of it was going to matter. In the meantime, Naruto's day went about as well as you could have expected it to, in the sense that he didn't really care. The clone gave him the rundown on everything he missed before disappearing, and Naruto slipped back in as if he had never left in the first place. He went through his classes nonchalantly, and before he knew it, he found himself on his way home. Naruto decided to take the long way home. I mean, he could teleport to his room at any given time, but even still, Naruto always enjoyed the little things. He wasn't in any major rush. There were still so many things he didn't know or understand. So many things he'd have to learn one way or another. He stopped by the ramen stand and had a bowl for dinner. His parents were going to be late coming home that evening, so he had to eat for himself. And he figured this would be a lot cheaper than trying to cook or anything like that. As he walked through the neighborhood, the night sky looming above him, he could feel an odd presence. It felt dark, sinister even. He wasn't sure why, but he felt himself being drawn towards it. But then he quickly remembered the promise he made Rias. He wasn't going to get involved in any of their affairs. If it really was a situation, then they could handle it. At least that's what they said. And yet, Naruto couldn't ignore this. His trekking eventually led him to a house. The lights seemed to be off, but the door was cracked open. Taking a deep breath, he made his way inside. Throughout the darkness of the house, there shined a light off in the distance. A room, and inside was the sound of battle. The swinging of a blade, the sound of a gun? There was a cry out for help, and Naruto went dashing in immediately. Naruto saw Asuya on the ground, and in the other side of the room stood a man in priestly robe with sword and gun in hand, his blade looking like a blade of light, and on the ground, a girl who Naruto recognized. Her white hair and golden eyes were a dead giveaway. She looked to be wearing a pair of gauntlets on her hands. It was Koneko. She had a bullet wound in her leg and a slash on her arm. Well, you are certainly one troublesome devil to deal with, but the feisty ones go down the slowest, and I love a good challenge. I'm not done, you piece of exorcist trash. Ooh, is that the best comeback you got, you little devil bitch? Well, I'll make sure I get the full joy of playing with you. Hearing your screams, they're gonna be great when I eat you alive. Someone like you will taste good with barbecue, or maybe a stir fry. Before the man could go in for another attack, Naruto would get in between the two. Immediately, he kicked him into the air before sending him back against the wall of the room. The man fell on his back and howled in pain as Naruto went to Koneko asking if she was okay. Naruto? Yeah, it's me. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Asuya, what are you doing here? Naruto? Ugh, you know this jackass? Yes, he... What are you, a sympathizer? I don't sense the smell of the unforgiven on you, so you're obviously human. Repent and turn back from your evil ways, renounce this evil scum and step aside so I can do my holy duty and I'll overlook this transgression. If not, you're gonna be having a lot to... Before he could continue on in his speech, Naruto delivered another punch to his face, knocking him back down once more. You bitch! Alright, you want to save the little devil girl? Well, fine. How about I turn you all into shish kebabs? Wait, no, please, Father Fried. Don't do this, Asuya would say. Please, I know that there's good in them. They wouldn't harm anyone. Oh, so you're a sympathizer too? Oh, God, why do I have to deal with the insufferable? I have to deal with a devil bitch, some wannabe loser, and some girl that doesn't know which way that thou shalt walk. What happened, huh? I thought you were holy and pure. What, did you give some to this guy? Oh, please, come on, Asuya. You could do so much better than the likes of him. Have some standards. You're a woman of the church, for Christ's sakes. Hey! Naruto would yell. It was one thing to insult him, but come on. Saying she could do better. That was just ridiculous. It wasn't the time for that. Naruto engaged in battle with Fried, as the two of them danced around the room with their blades. It didn't take Fried long to realize he was outclassed and outskilled. Naruto using two of the Uzumaki chains, one from each hand, binding Fried and holding him in place. As he delivered a knee strike to his nose, he could tell that he had broken it, and Fried yelled in pain as he held onto his face. Oh God, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna murder you straight to hell! Alright, let's get you guys out of here. You're not getting away so easily. You're all gonna die! Fried pointed his gun directly at them. However, before he even had a chance to fire, Naruto and the others were already gone. They arrived near the side of the school where Naruto had placed a marker, in case he was ever running late or just didn't feel like walking. Thankfully, they weren't far from the Occult Research Club, and the three made their way there. Rias and Akeno and Kiba were waiting, and they were surprised when Naruto came running in with Koneko in his arms. Akeno and Rias would get to work healing her immediately, as they got the full details to what happened. Rias would apologize profusely. She didn't think that she would do something so foolish as to send one of her loyal servants into the hands of an exorcist. Of course, if it hadn't been for Naruto showing up when he did, then there was no telling what could have happened. Rias was extremely thankful to Naruto, and Naruto assured them there was nothing to worry about. Asuya, seeing the camaraderie amongst this group, she couldn't find fault with them. I mean, could they really be that bad if they truly cared and looked after one another like this? More so than the people she ever knew. Asuya would introduce herself, and of course, there was a bit of trepidation with Asuya, but she assured them that she meant them no harm. She didn't want to fight or cause any trouble. Naruto would assure them that she was going to be taking her leave, and as he tried to figure out where she was going to go, Asuya explained she didn't have anywhere to go. In all likelihood, Fried or someone of his caliber was probably going to come and try to kill her. However, Naruto promised he wasn't going to let that happen. He offered for her to come home with him. Asuya would immediately blush at this. The idea of going to a boy's house? Why, she'd never done anything like this in her life. She didn't know if she was mentally prepared. Naruto assured her that there wasn't going to be anything that wasn't up to code, and that she could just spend some time there until she figured things out. Taking him at his word, the two would teleport and find themselves in Naruto's room. Naruto offered her the bed while he slept on the futon. Asuya was grateful. As they tried to rest and get some sleep, Asuya asked a little bit about Naruto and his life. Naruto told her about it. He spoke about how his parents weren't able to have children, and that they actually suffered a terrible miscarriage. Asuya had always learned that the souls of those who died from a pre-birth weren't always just sent away. There were some cases where they were able to pull through, although they would be taken, to where she wasn't entirely sure. But it wasn't like that information did her much good anyway, and she couldn't fully confirm or deny any of it. However, Naruto liked to take solace. Maybe there was a brother out there that he never knew. And if there was, he hoped he was doing alright. As the next day came, Naruto would make sure to get Asuya out of the house before his parents woke up. Once again, Naruto was going to send the clone to school, and he was just going to spend his day with Asuya. She had already been through so much. The least he could do was try to entertain, or at least show her that things weren't so bad. As they did so, they enjoyed spending time together. Asuya having a chance to actually make a friend, to pour her heart out. She was grateful. As they hung out with one another, Naruto learned more and more about Asuya, about her past as an orphan, about being abandoned and left behind. He couldn't imagine not having anyone to care or love for him in his life. There were the parents he had now and the parents of his other world. In a way, Naruto was truly lucky, and he realized that deeply. Of course, for Asuya, this was more than she could have possibly have dreamed. In a whole day, she got to spend it with a true and genuine friend, enjoying laughs and making memories. She was truly grateful to Naruto for saving her life, for everything that she had done. She didn't know that she could be worthy of having such a relationship, and yet here it was before her. She was truly blessed. The day couldn't have gone any better for the two of them. As they made their way to the park, Naruto went to go buy them some ice cream. As Asuya sat on a bench, Naruto had gone to the truck and was ready to come back when he heard a scream. He immediately raced over to see what was going on, and he saw her. Right there, standing behind Asuya, holding her with a light spear to her throat. "Don't do it, Rainier!" Naruto stood ready. He knew with his kunais he could get there fast enough. He could maybe blow her arm off with a Rasengan if need be. And from there he could get Asuya and the both of them out of here. "I wouldn't take another move if I were you, Naruto. Not unless you want your parents to get hurt." "What?" "That's right. I've got 2 snipers at the ready. One word from me, and the both of them are done. Naruto's eyes would widen in a panic. She couldn't be serious. I'm sorry, Naruto. I'll admit it, you're really skilled. So skilled, in fact, in my current state, I know I wouldn't stand a chance against you. But orders are orders, and I have to follow them. Rainier, what are you doing? Asuya here has something that I need. It will serve my master well, and as such, I can't have you or anyone else interfering. Asuya would look to Naruto. She knew that he would try something, anything, and even still, while she was grateful for it, she didn't want him to lose his parents, to lose the people that he loved, all because of her. She had already been the cause of enough grief and pain in her life. She didn't want to cause that to the one person that had shown her kindness. Naruto! Asuya, it's gonna be fine, I promise. I know. That's why I'm going. What? Come on, Asuya, you can't be serious. It's fine, Naruto. Really. I'm grateful. You've shown me what it means to have a friend. And I'll always appreciate that. Really. Don't worry about me. Asuya gave him a smile as she and Rainier would disappear. Naruto rushing to her instantly, as the only thing left behind was the small teddy bear that she had won at the arcade. Holding it in his hands, Naruto felt a swell of anger build within him. His eyes beginning to change from a bright and hopeful blue to a dark crimson red. The lust for anger. His thirst for vengeance. It had finally come to the surface. And now, the demon that he had kept suppressed for so long was about to be unleashed. This concludes Naruto DxD, The Last Shinobi. What if Naruto was in High School DxD? Season 1, Part 2. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for Monday's video as we continue Naruto, King of the Clouds. What if Naruto was a cloud ninja? Part 4. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.